Coming up on Mountain News this morning, the Commonwealth is mourning the death of one of its greats, Billy Hicks. And the WYMT Food City Mountain Basketball Classic is underway in Knott County.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Olivia Calfee. The time is 6 a.m. on Tuesday, December 5th. Now let's check in with Chief Forecaster Brandon Robinson for a look at your forecast this morning. And Brandon, I have a feeling that the forecast this morning is going to be drastically different than it will be tomorrow morning. I know folks will need to be extra aware tomorrow for some ice or snow on the streets at some places.
Possibly. Now, here's the thing. Here in Triangle Park and Hazard, they're already getting ready for their ice skating rink. But again, lots more Christmas decorations going up down there downtown. Again, we appreciate our friends over at Hazard Perry County Tourism for this. But you're right. There's going to be some, at least flakes flying tomorrow morning. Let's put it that way. 34 downtown Hazard. A little fog in the background there. I'm sure we could probably see that a little bit better from our WYMT studio camera. But again, it's a little chilly out there. Everybody basically besides Harlan and Jacksboro in the 30s this morning, from 30 in Ashland to 41 in Harlan and Jacksboro. So again, a lot of mid to upper 30s. It is 37 across the river in Cincinnati, down in Bowling Green too, 40 in Knoxville, 40 in Carbondale, and 38 in Paducah, also 40 in Louisville. So your weather app forecast today, back and forth. The forecast is going to be changing partly to mostly cloudy skies. I think as we get deeper into the afternoon, those clouds will take over. Showers will start to work their way in, and that transitions as temperatures drop with that cold front overnight to a few flakes by tomorrow morning. The latest details coming up in just a few minutes. Olivia.
Brandon, thank you. A huge loss yesterday in the world of Kentucky high school basketball. The state's winningest basketball coach and Eastern Kentucky native Billy Hicks died at the age of 71. Reaction has poured in from former players and coaches since the announcement. Jeremy Toms caught up with some of those people to talk about the impact Hicks made both on and off the court.
From the mountains of Eastern Kentucky to the rolling hills of the bluegrass.
When you think Kentucky high school basketball, you think of Billy Hicks.
Coach Billy Hicks made gymnasiums his home away from home.
We had some battles. We had some battles over the year.
And he'd make it a full house throughout those winter months.
I'll never forget in, I guess it was 1999, when we were 2 in the state, they were 1 in the state, and they had to shut the doors of Scott County High School before the JV game started.
Hicks made his biggest mark at Scott County, spanning a quarter century and earning 2 state titles.
He had a decent building block when he got here, but man, he turned it into a full foundation by the time he left.
His presence never left that hardwood.
The man's got pictures all around here, championships, banners.
But what his peers, like Coach Alan Feldhouse, say they'll miss the most are the life lessons Hicks imparted.
His players loved him. I mean, he was hard on them. He demanded a lot of them, but I know a lot of those guys. He did it the right way.
And the friendships he had a knack for making along the way.
I thought him more like a father figure for me, Coach Hicks. And he didn't want to know about basketball. He just wanted to know about your life. I have the utmost respect for him, and I know he's at a place now where he can do a lot of fishing.
Jeremy Toms, WKYT.
Hicks finished with 1,013 wins. The Billy Hicks Classic will go on as scheduled today. Coach Fieldhouse hopes all the kids involved give it everything they've got because he knows that just how much Hicks would want that. And many in Eastern Kentucky are also remembering the Harlan County native. Coach Hicks began his coaching career in 1978 in Everts. 3 seasons later, he went on to coach at Harlan High School and then Corbin. Former Harlan High School head coach John Ball says they both started at the same school in the same year. He said Hicks was tough on his players, but also showed love and care.
He worked them hard as far as a coach goes, but they knew that he cared about them, and sometimes he would have them all over to his house for a chili dinner and things like that. So, you know, I think that it'd be hard to find, at least from here, a player that had something negative to say.
Ball says even though Hicks was only at Harlan for 3 years, he still had an impact on the community. Funeral arrangements have not yet been announced. Drivers using Kentucky 1384 at Hurricane Creek in Pike County will need to detour around a railroad crossing starting today. Officials at the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet say the road will be closed the next 2 mornings so repairs can be made at the CSX railroad crossing. This is 2/10 of a mile east of US 23. Transportation officials say the closing should take no longer than a day or 2. The WYMT Food City Mountain Basketball Classic is underway. The host for the tournament this year is Knott County Central High School, where it all started back in 1988. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox talked to administrators about why the tournament is important to them.
Several girls and boys basketball teams will be matching up on B.B. King Court for the annual WYMT Food City Mountain Basketball Classic.
Oh, it's good to get that type of experience early on in the season and kind of find out where your team is compared to the other top teams in the mountains.
The facility has played host to the Mountain Classic several times, so the exposure is nothing new.
We think that you know, we've got a great facility to showcase basketball. It's a good facility to watch basketball games, and there are always very competitive games in the YMT.
Competitiveness speaks to the history of basketball playing out.
It's just, you know, now it's got a lot of history, a lot of, you know, a lot of great players, a lot of great coaches have come through here and come through the tournament.
Basketball and academics, millions of dollars worth of scholarships have been awarded during the tournament, and more than $100,000 will be awarded this year.
Well, I just think it's a way to, you know, showcase our academic side as well as the athletics in Eastern Kentucky.
Another week showcasing athletic and academic excellence. In Knott County, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
More than 100 students will be receiving scholarship money. We will have some features on some of those winners later this week.
.608 here on this Tuesday morning. A little fog over in Louisa at our Kentucky Mesonet site there, and you see it's a little bit kind of, it looks almost like it's doing something, but that's just the moisture on the camera from that fog. So again, no moisture out there right now, but again, it could be cold enough in some of these spots there. 32 in Irvin, 30 in Ashland, down to 40 in Harlan, and 41 in Jacksboro, the warmest spot in the region. It's a little bit different from this time yesterday. 6 degrees colder in Jackson, and then 4 degrees warmer in Jonesville and Jacksboro this morning. Those are our winners on the coldest and warmest side. So the breakdown today, clouds will gradually increase ahead of that cold front moving in later today, and so will the rain chances before turning to snow overnight. Olivia.
Thank you, Brandon, and thanks for joining Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. Coming up, new satellite images show Israel has begun invading southern Gaza as Palestinians struggle to leave.